Good morning, Mr. President and Your Honors.
Good morning.
Today we have Khrapach Mykhailo with us. So with your kind permission, may I call him for the testimony?
Yes, please, just tell me when he's here.
Mr. Khrapach, yeah. This.
Mr. Khrapach, thank you for being here, and say yes if you agree.
Yes,
that the evidence you will give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I'm agree.
Thank you.
Let me ask you that what is the name of the town where you were on 24th of February?
Lesnoa in Kharkiv region.
In Kharkiv region. So how far is Lesnoa from the Russian border?
I think it's about 20-30 kilometers.
And which side of Ukraine Lesno is situated? East, west, north, or south?
North.
North, okay. Now, you were saying that you were at your home on 24th of February 2022. So what did you say or witness on that very particular day?
At the beginning of the war, I heard a lot of rocket attacks, artillery attacks near my house. Also a lot of Russian artillery shells my village. That's what in my village it was no military objects, but the shell at the beginning of the war, at 24th February.
But you were at Lesno, right?
Yes.
So at Lesno, what was the frequency of shelling when the shelling started?
Frequency of shelling? You know, it was a lot of artillery. I don't know for what purpose they shoot my village, because it was not just a civilian houses. Purpose, I don't know. The frequency, they shelled a lot. I can say you, they shelled a lot. We were sitting in the shelter and just waiting to get out to cook some food for us and for children that we have there.
So, how far was the shelling from your house? Could you deduct?
I think probably yes. The nearest shelling, it was about 50 meters from my house. 50 meters. The nearest artillery shell that was the nearest, yeah, 50 meters.
So, when did you decide to leave your village?
It was the 2nd of March.
And who were with you?
With me were my mom, my sister, and my father.
And what kind of transport were you using for the relocation?
We had our civilian car. It was just a typical civilian BMW. Also, we had there a bunch of white flags, I think 4 white flags, that a military can detect that we're civilians.
And where were you going?
To another our countryside house that had a lot of supplies, water, biggest bomb shelter, also a lot of food, because in the Lesnoe, where we were living, there was no electricity, no water since the beginning of the war.
Okay, and how far was that village from Lesno?
About, I think, 7 or 10 kilometers. It was near.
So when did you start on 2nd of March? When did you start to your relocation on 2nd of March?
It was about 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock in the afternoon?
In the afternoon, yeah.
Okay. And was there any other civilian vehicle on the road?
No, we didn't see another civilians. We saw a bunch of destroyed Russian vehicles. For example, it was a Russian BMP, a Russian BAM-21 Grad. It was rocket artillery, but no civilians.
How did you know that they were Russian vehicles?
They had Russian signs, that Russian Z sign, and I'm sorry, and And this, Russian army had also this star sign on the technique, the vehicles.
So what happened after that? Like you were going to a village?
Yeah. We are moving on the road, not so fast, I think about 50 kilometers per hour, and we saw a tank. We didn't know which tank that was, probably a tank Ukrainian, probably Russian. We saw tanks then, we started to move in there, they're slow, and we saw a Z on that tank. We were in the civilian car with white flags, but on the tank that were a machine gunner with a heavy machine gun, and they started shooting at us. Then our car went from the road, I think it was in a forest, and burned out. This machine gunner at first killed my father. Then it was in a forest. I screamed that don't shoot us, we're just civilians. You see the white flags on the car, but they didn't stop. They continued to shoot at us with this machine gun, and they shoot it at us about 20-30 minutes without any pause, I can say. Then we escaped from this car and
Means you and your mother and your younger sister? Or
No, my mother escaped first when my father was dead, and the car burned, and we were sitting just with my sister. I screamed that don't shoot at us, we're civilians, but they continued to shoot, and after that they killed my sister, and I also got shot in my back.
by any chance, do you have any bullet with you right now to show the
Yeah.
court?
I have one. Here it is. This bullet was inside me. It's a 50 cal bullet from the Russian DSHK heavy machine gun. They use this machine gun to destroy vehicles, to destroy troops, but not for killing just the civilians. It's a big caliber, very big bullet.
So what happened after that? Like what happened to your sister and your father?
My father and sister were dead. We understood that when we escaped, we were laying on the ground, but they continued to shoot us. And, we were laying and thinking, what should we do now? So we were just waiting that we will came for us and killed us, because we are witnesses. We are waiting. Say to us came these two Russian soldiers. I said that we're civilians, don't shoot at us. They took us, stopped a car on the road, and this car, I didn't know what car it was. Probably some civilian car, probably not civilian. It was just a white car with some signs, but I don't know which car it was.
And after that, they put you in that white car.
Yeah, in a
You
white.
and
My mother
your mother. Your mother is with you today?
was here.
Okay.
Cheers.
And what happened after that?
They drove us in another village, and they said that we don't have gasoline, sit here and just waiting for something. We were sitting and waiting just for something. We both were injured. Then came some Ukrainian people, I don't know, just typical Ukrainian civilians. They took us. My mother said that they're heavy injured. We thought that we will not survive because the injury was so heavy. I lost a lot of blood, I can tell you, and I had 2 bullet wounds and I think 7 or 8 the shrapnel wounds, or probably more. And we're just sitting. Came some Ukrainian civilians. They took us at their house, and there they helped us in some way. They give me some medicine, some medicine.
What happened after that?
After that, to us came some man and said that he could help us. we were sitting in here in his car, and he drove us to another hospital, but that was in the Ukrainian territory. I don't know why. I don't know how. I didn't see this all because I was I was very heavy injured, and it was so difficult to me to see something. He drove us from this Russian territory to Ukrainian territory to hospital, and in that hospital they made me an operation, which saved my life. After that, after this operation, a hospital personnel drove me to another hospital that was in Kharkiv, and in that hospital, my mother was operated also.
I'll just take back to the 2nd of March. Can you tell me that how old was your sister?
My sister was 9 years old.
Yes, I have one last question for you, which is that do you know that Putin claimed that he invaded Ukraine for self-defense, for protecting a Russian-speaking population in Ukraine? Have you ever witnessed anything in Ukraine that the policy of Ukraine was discriminatory towards Russian-speaking populace of Ukraine?
No, never. I can tell you never. I lived in Kharkiv. It was a whole city there speak Russian. They support Ukraine, the whole city support Ukraine, but the whole city speak Russian. And nobody was discriminated that he speak Russian. I can make my final exam at school at Russian. I can read a lot of books at Russian. I can speak at Russian. I learned at school at Russian. All that I did at Russian language, and I had no problem with this. No problem. It's no discrimination with this language. All that Putin said is just words to invade Ukraine, just words to have some new territory, to occupy this new territory.
It's a miracle that you survived. It is a miracle, isn't it?